Good morning, student. Today we are going to start before the design of transformer. What is the importance and what is the specific loading? So in the specific loading, we have the specific magnetic loading, which is equals to P into phi divided by pi into capital D into capital L, where P equals to number of poles, phi is nothing but the flux per pole, then capital D equals to diameter of the armature in meter, L equals to gross length of the armature in meter. So this is the specific magnetic loading, and after the specific magnetic loading we have the specific electric loading denoted by small q. So Ia multiplied by Za divided by pi d, where Ia is nothing but the armature current in ampere and Za equals to number of armature conductors, whereas capital D is nothing but the diameter of the armature. So what is next? On which factor the specific magnetic loading as well as the specific electric loading depends. Choice of specific magnetic loading. So number one, that is the teeth flux density. So if you select the teeth air gap flux density is more, due to that what happens, the flux density will be more. So under the large flux density, the copper losses increases. At the same time, you have to select the proper frequency. So frequency f is given by np by 2. If the frequency will be more, those losses depends upon the frequency, that is iron losses will increases. Then third choice of specific magnetic loading is nothing but the voltage. If you select the higher voltage, then more insulation is required. More insulation is required, which increases the space. Then due to the increase in space, what happens? The ampere turns increases, which increases the copper losses. So that's why while selecting the specific magnetic loading, these are the important points, that is the teeth flux density not be more than 2.2 Weber per meter square. Then frequency is not more, due to that the iron losses will increases, and if the voltage will be more, under that condition more insulation, more space is required and limited space is available for the conductors. That's why the ampere turns may increases, and due to that the copper losses increases. So flux density in the air gap, which is given by BF, that is the specific magnetic loading divided by Kf, whereas Kf is nothing but the pole arc divided by pole pitch, whose value is 0.7. So here for choice of specific magnetic loading, we have the one table. In the table we have the rating in kilowatt and the value of flux density in the air gap. So for 5 kilowatt motor, we have the 0.575 Weber per meter square, then 10, 20, 50, 100, 200 and 500 kilowatt. The air gap flux density increases from 0.575 to 0.905. So further increase in rating of the motor 750 to 10,000, the maximum value of flux density in the air gap is 1.05. So in this way, depending upon the rating of the motor, we have to select the flux density in the air gap, that is Bg equals to, or the flux density in the air gap, Bg equals to the specific magnetic loading divided by Kf. So in this way, the specific magnetic loading have importance while selecting the value of flux density in the air gap. Otherwise what happens, there will be a more losses, or the more losses due to the selection of the frequency. Then the area increases. If the voltage will be more insulation is required, and we have to select the proper value of flux density. Otherwise, if the flux density beyond the limit of 2.2 2.2 Weber per meter square. So under that condition, what happens? The ampere turns will be more and the copper losses will be more. So that's why the choice of specific magnetic loading is very important while designing the motor. So next one is the choice of specific electric loading. It is denoted by AC or sometimes it is denoted by small q. The choice of specific electric loading is nothing but the how the specific electric loading is selected on heating or temperature rise, speed, voltage, size of machine, armature reaction and commutation. So at the same time, choice of specific electric loading is nothing but the how the choice of specific electric loading is important. So first one is nothing but the heating or temperature rise. So if the value of AC is more, if the value of AC is more, means what? The value of specific electric loading is more. So under that condition, what happens? The heat dissipation, whatever will be the heat generated in the machine, the heat dissipation will be poor. So this is in the case of the large machine. So for the small machine also, for small machine, if we choose the small value of AC, under that condition what happens? The heat dissipation is also poor due to the surface area, factor. So that's why the proper temperature rise or the proper value of AC or the specific heat loading you have to select. Second one is nothing but the speed. As for the higher speed, we require the proper heat dissipation. So heat dissipation depends upon the what value of AC we have selected. So more the value of AC, more will be the ampere turns. Higher the value of AC, more will be the ampere turns. So under that condition, we have to select the such value of AC so that the ampere turns are controlled and you will get the proper value of specific electric loading. Then third one is nothing but the voltage. Increase in voltage. If the voltage increase, so under that condition, so what happens? The insulations also increases. As the insulation increases, so what happens? The cost increases. So that's why voltage is the third factor which is important factor while selecting the specific electric loading. Then size of the machine. For large machine, you can choose the large value of AC. Since for the large machine we have the large diameter, so under that condition the space is available. Under that condition you can choose the large value of AC or ampere turns. Then armature reaction. You know the armature reaction, the effect of magnetic field produced by the conductor on the distribution of flux under the main poles. So for under the how the specific loading affect the armature reaction. So more the value of AC, what happens? More will be the ampere turns. If more will be the ampere turns, then more will be the armature reaction. As the armature reactions is more, so we have to reduce the armature reaction, and you know how to reduce the armature reaction by inserting extra field turns. So this extra field turns increases the cost. That's why you have to choose the specific proper value of electric loading. And last one is nothing but the commutation. So you know what is commutation? That is the reversal of the current in the coil. So if the reversal of current in the coil is not mentioned, it is not proper. So under that condition, what happens? The reactance voltage increases. The reactance voltage increases. So increased value of reactance voltage produces the bad commutation. Produces the bad commutation. So to improve the commutation, you have to select such ampere turns so that such ampere turns or such value of AC so that the reactance voltage will be less and there will be a good commutation or normal commutation. So the value of electric loading is ranging from 15,000 to 51,000 ampere turn per meter. So in this way, the choice of specific electric loading is very important, and these are the importance of the specific electric loading. Choice of specific electric loading. What is next? Now we have to see the table. In that table, how the rating of the motor changes the value of specific electric loading from 15,000 to 51,000. So this table gives the choice of specific electric loading depending upon the rating of machine in kilowatt. Rating of machine in kilowatt, or you can say that the output of the machine in kilowatt. So for 5 kilowatt, that is the lowest kilowatt rating of the machine, we have to choose the specific electric loading of 15,000. So in this way, rating with 10 kilowatt, 20, 50, 100, 200 and 500, the value of specific electric loading increases from 15,000 to 36,000. Further increase in output in kilowatt, 750 to 10,000. The maximum, the specific electric loading increases from 37,500 to 51,500. So in this way, the specific electric loading values varies from 15,000 to 51,500 ampere turn per meter. So this completes the importance of specific loading, that is the specific magnetic loading. What are the importance, on which factor the specific electric magnetic loading depends, and the table how to choose the specific magnetic loading depending upon the rating of the motor, then the choice of the electric loading, its factor, and how the choice of specific electric magnetic electric loading is important. Then this table gives how to choose the specific electric loading depending upon the rating of the motor. So what is our next topic? Next topic is nothing but the design of transformer. So next topic is nothing but the design of transformer. While designing the transformer, you have to use the different abbreviations. First of all, we are going to see the different abbreviations which are useful while designing the transformer. So first one abbreviation is nothing but the S. S is nothing but the output kVA, or in some books the output kVA S is also denoted by capital Q. Means capital S or capital Q is nothing but the output kVA. You are familiar with the phi. You are used in the transformer, that is the maximum flux or main flux in Weber. The next one is nothing but the Bm. Bm is nothing but the maximum flux density in Weber per meter square. Then this del is nothing but the current density in ampere per meter square. Del is nothing but the current density in ampere per meter square. Then AI. AI is nothing but the net core area in meter square. Net core area in meter square. Sometimes the stacking factor is given in the numerical. Sometimes the stacking factor is given in the numerical. So net core area in meter square is given by stacking factor multiplied by the gross area. Multiplied by the gross area. So what is stacking factor? That is the effective area of the core which lies or which is under the influence of magnetic field and produces the EMF. That area, that factor is called as a stacking factor. For example, the stacking factor is 0.9. For example, stacking factor is 0.9. Means what? 90% of the core area is responsible to produce the EMF. So that factor sometimes given and sometimes is not. Whenever the factor is not given, means what? Stacking factor equals to 1. Means net core area is useful, and whenever the stacking factor is given, then out of that 0.9, if the stacking factor 0.9 is given, then 19% of the gross area is used. That will be a net core area. Then capital AGI. Capital AGI means gross core area in meter square. Gross core area in meter square. Then AC. Area of copper in window. Area of copper in window. So this one is nothing but the window. So this one is the magnetic core and this one is nothing but the window. So area of copper in window. Then AW, that is the area of window. So how will you write the area of window? That is the height of window multiplied by width of window. Height of window multiplied by width of window. So in this way you can calculate the area of window. Then capital D. Capital D is nothing but the distance between the core center. So this one is the magnetic core. This one is the magnetic core. So this is the center of the magnetic core. So this is the center of the magnetic core. This one is also the center of the core. So distance between the two core center. So this one is the first core center. This one is the second core center. So distance between the two core centers is nothing but the capital T. Then small d. Small d is nothing but the diameter of circumscribing circles. So this is the circumscribing circle. So these two dotted line, apart from this limb, we have the circumscribing circle. So this is denoted by small d. Then KW, that is window space factor. KW is nothing but the window space factor. F is nothing but the frequency in hertz. Then EI, which is equals to ET, equals to EMF per turn. You have studied the EMF per turn. So EMF per turn is nothing but the EMF per turn of the primary must be equals to the EMF per turn on the secondary. Then T1 and T2, or sometimes TP and TS, are nothing but the number of turns of the primary and the secondary. Number of turns of the primary and secondary. Then I1, I2, or IP, IS. P for primary, S for secondary. 1 for primary, 2 for secondary. Equals to the current in primary and secondary. V1, V2, or VP, IS. VP, VS is nothing but the terminal voltage of the primary and secondary. Then APAS. APAS is nothing but the area of conductor in primary and secondary. Then LI is nothing but the mean length of the flux path in the core. So mean length of the flux path in the core is denoted by Li. Then LMT. LMT is nothing but the length of mean turn of the transformer winding. Length of mean turn in the transformer winding. Then capital GI, that is the weight of active ion in kg. Small gi, that is the weight per meter cube of iron in kg. Capital GC, that is the weight of copper in kg. Small gc, that is the weight per meter cube of copper in kg. Then pi equals to loss in iron per kg in watts, and pc is nothing but the loss in copper per kg in watts. So these abbreviations are very important. So again I am repeating, all the abbreviations while designing the transformer. Capital S, that is the output in kVA, sometimes in Q. Phi m is nothing but the main flux in Weber. Bm equals to maximum flux density in Weber per meter square. Del is nothing but the current density in ampere per meter square. Then AI equals to net core area in meter square. Stacking factor, which is equals to stacking factor multiplied by gross area. Stacking factor is nothing but the effective area of the core, which is responsible to produce the EMF. So AGI is nothing but the gross core area in meter square. AC equals to area of copper in window. So this one is the window in meter square. So area of window is given by height of window multiplied by width of window in meter square. D equals to distance between the core center. So this one is the first core center, this one is the second core center, and distance between the two core center is nothing but the capital D. Then small d equals to the diameter of the circumscribing circle. Kw equals to the window space factor. F equals to frequency in hertz. EI or ET, that is nothing but the EMF per turn. T1, T2 or TPTS are nothing but the number of turns of the primary and secondary. Number of turns of the, here is the primary, here is the secondary. Number of turns of the primary and secondary. Sometimes the primary and secondary wound on the same limb for the more mutual induction and to produce the more EMF. I1, I2 or IPIS is nothing but the current in primary and secondary. V1, V2 or VPVS is nothing but the terminal voltage of primary and secondary. AP and AS, that is the area of conductor in primary and secondary. LI, that is the mean length of the flux path in iron in meter. LMT, that is the length of mean turn of transformer in winding. GI equals to weight of active iron in kg. GI equals to weight per meter cube of iron in kg. Capital GC, that is the weight of copper in kg, and GC equals to the weight per meter cube of copper in kg. Then last two, PI equals to loss in iron per kg. Loss in iron per kg in watts. Then PC equals to loss in copper. Loss in copper and loss in iron, both are per kg and both units having the watts. So in this way, these abbreviations are very important. So these abbreviations are very standard. Sometimes there will be some deviation. Sometimes T1, T2 will be the primary and secondary turns, and sometimes TPTS or I1, I2, IPIS, V1, V2, VPVS, or some changes in the S. Sometimes there will be a S, that is the output kVA, and sometimes output kVA equals to Q. So in this way, these abbreviations are very important while designing the transformer. So now what is our next aim? Next aim is to study the output of the transformer, output of the single phase transformer as well as the three phase transformer. So for that purpose, we have to derive the EMF equation. You must know the EMF equation of the transformer, that is for the single phase transformer as well as the three phase transformer. So while coming in the next class, you have to revise the EMF equation of the single phase transformer and EMF equation of the three phase transformer. So output of the single phase transformer, how to derive, how the output of the single phase transformer and three phase transformer is useful, as well as the with respect to the current density and the area of the window. That derivation we will see in the next class. Okay, thank you.